Hello Scorpios, welcome to your September 2015 tarot reading. I am using a different deck this time. This is the Aquarian deck by David Palladini, and it's only going to be used for this month, mainly because I want to give my other deck a break in between readings. So let's see what we have in store for you. Going to wait for the first card that shows up, and then we'll draw the rest of the cards. Okay. All right, first up, we have the Ace of Cups, the Three of Swords, interesting. The Eight of Swords reverse, Queen of Swords. Okay, so what I'm sensing here for the majority of the rest of the, for the majority of the first 2 weeks of September, there's definitely going to be some healing that needs to take place and a truce that needs to be reached with potentially a relationship partner, okay? I do feel the Queen of Swords coming through, and this can be an Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, somebody that you've been having some disputes with for quite some time, or at least there is now clarity coming through as to, in your understanding of this person's motives, in your understanding of this person's intentions for you. I also feel that this is a situation where, it's a blast from the past. It's a person that you were romantically involved with, possibly. It could be in a work situation too, but, with the Ace of Cups and the Three of Swords, and also Six of Cups, it seems more to me that it is a romantic relationship rather than a business entanglement, okay? So I do feel that for those of you dealing with this air sign, he or she can be quite swift and can be quite cutting with their words. I do feel there were harsh words exchanged in the past between both parties. And I do feel like this is not new energy, okay? If for those of you where it might have happened in the past already, because this indicates to me, I'm doing this, this reading is for September, but it's definitely indicative of something coming through, possibly the last week of July or even something coming through like the last week of August, because the Ace of Cups, usually the first card of the month, is a residual energy. So it didn't indicates to me a falling out that might have happened, like that could come in for this month, or it could be something from the past that you're still grappling with. But I do feel as well that a lot of clarity is coming through. You are going to get communication from this person, this air sign. And I do sense that it is going to answer a lot of the questions, a lot of the mysteries, or, lingering attachments, whatever it is that that wasn't resolved between the two of you. There's definitely a situation coming through for a resolution coming in this month. And it's not going to be something that you anticipate, or at least it's not going to play out the way you anticipated. But I do feel both parties are able to get closure. If there has been a stall communication between you and that lover from the past, then there's definitely the past cycling through in which you're both able to resolve your conflicts and you both are moving on. I don't feel a reconciliation coming on the heels of this, and I also don't feel any type of a rekindling a previous, romantic situation coming through for this energy, not with this energy. But I do sense at least there's going to be clarity, okay? The person might also, the Queen of Swords in the upright position, it's somebody who's very rational, very logical. In the reverse position, it could be somebody who's putting down their defenses. And then as a result, if you're in contact with them sometime for this month, you're going to realize that, okay, the conflict itself has played out this way, and I don't feel there's any way that we can go back to the way we were, so let's just call it quits, okay? So I know that relationships in general are rarely nice and clean and easy to break off. So I do sense that if you're dealing with this situation, this is something that's long in the making, and it might be difficult for you to gauge where they're coming from, because obviously you're an air sign, you're a water sign, they're an air sign. So the seeing eye to eye might have been very, very difficult in the past, okay? I also sense here we have the Justice card. A lot of you might be dealing with a Libra. And for those of you dealing with air signs in general, I do sense that there might be some type of legal issues coming through from an air sign, possibly regarding like a dissolution of a marriage. It could be separation. It could be just we have the Six of Cups too. It could be financial obligations when it concerns children, okay? So that situation is coming through for a lot of you to grapple with. And I do feel that if you're in any type of a legal battle, it could be over custody, it could be over like child support, or even there might be problems regarding the children, like getting into trouble at school and things like that, that's coming through that you need to take care of. And I do feel that the pain is associated with the child. It's not associated with the relationship itself, okay? It's associated with the child. For those of you who are parents or who are dealing with children or who are in a work environment concerning children, I do feel that there is some childhood or even like children, some problems with children coming through that requires your immediate attention, and it's gotten you very upset. So if this is somebody like a child of yours, then you might be, you know, in conflict with child rearing practices from you and a partner, if you're in a romantic relationship or in a partnership. But even if it's like somebody from your past, like a mother of your child, or even, you know, a father of the child that you have, there might be some types of a disagreement regarding how to best raise a child and how to, you know, best take care of your child. There might be some situation where a child's needs are not met, and it's coming to the surface so that both parents can work together as a unit to create a better foundation, or at least to establish a firmer foundation for that child. So I do feel that a lot of patience is definitely going to be needed for you. Temperance is a card in which you see like two separate, two disparate entities coming together, okay? So in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it's the angel pouring, you know, water from one cup to the other. So I do feel, even though you and the air sign might not see eye to eye on a lot of things, this is a month for you both to put aside your differences, come together, and nurture something else in your life that might need both of your support, okay? So let the ego games on the aside and work together as a unit, okay? So there is a sense of camaraderie coming through, and I do feel that it's going to require pretty much most of the month in order for you to deal with this situation, okay? For those of you who are single and dating, I do feel that there is a very strong romantic prospect coming through in the terms in the form of an air sign, and it is going to be someone who's very drastically different from you, someone who is very logical, very rational. Not that you're not. It's just they're approaching life from a very cerebral standpoint, and they do things very procedurally and very by the book. So whereas you're operating more from an intuitive space. So in terms of ego clashing, I do sense that is something potentially coming through. But also, it's going to require the majority of the month in order for you to reach a resolution with this person. So in any type of a capacity, and I do feel it can play out on the work front as well, where the other person might be a supervisor or might be a colleague that you're working with, and they want things done. They want things done, even though the way they do things might not be the most efficient. They want things done by the book, so it's a little bit difficult to reach an agreement or at least see eye to eye with this person, okay? So that's something coming through that I want you to be very, very patient about and dealing with. Excuse me. I do sense as well that the majority of the patience is going to come through after, 2 weeks of extensive dealing with this person. The first 2 weeks is more like laying the foundation. It would be more conducive for you to figure out up front what it is that you both are not seeing eye to eye on, if that's the case, and how both, I guess, like divide up the work. This is a division of labor. It's going to be required of you because you're so drastically different that if you were working jointly, you would basically disrupt one another's workflow on the work front. So if you were to, divide up the work between the two of you and each person takes control of one main aspect of the work project, I do feel there are less opportunities for ego clashes, and also just that jarring energy where you work with somebody that you're not compatible with. So it's going to be much better for you. At the same time, I do feel that by the sometime during this week, excuse me, this month, I do feel this air sign letting their guard down, and you're going to have to. I do feel there might be exchange in words if it's in a romantic setting, but towards the end of the month, I do feel that letting their guard down, and they're opening up to you in a more realistic way, but also in a more human way. So what I'm sensing here is the Four of Swords indicates to me a period of rest and a period of recuperation. In one of the decks that I used for the weekly reading, it also indicates a period of spiritual ascension. Okay, so I do feel that, the reverse side of the Queen of Swords also indicates to me somebody who is not only logical, but who can also be very, very spiritual. So there is this sense of spiritual awakening happening with this person, and I do feel that they are approaching life from a very detached perspective, which is something that you're not comfortable with. And I do feel that that's something that is very, very different from the way that you would do things. So as a result of it, you are realizing that, there's very little keeping the relationship intact. And as a result, it might be, time to leave the situation behind. If it hasn't worked out in the past, I do feel there is a period where you are definitely re-examining this major relationship with this very cerebral person, and you're realizing whether or not it's going to work out for you. So at least if you're romantically linked, I do feel that a period of a break is in order for you. If you want to initiate this break, I do sense it's actually good for you to initiate during a Mercury in retrograde period, because it can prevent further escalation of conflict if you haven't been seeing eye to eye. And also, any period of introspection or any period of separation from a partner, so that that can allow both parties to, I guess, reflect on their role or their contribution to a conflict, or to reassess what the relationship itself is lacking, so that you can move forward and find that either in other people, or to figure ways to reinject whatever is lacking into the relationship. So either way, I do feel a period of possibly the air sign coming through the second week, and then somewhat leaving your life towards the end, okay? I don't feel it's leading to an end. I do sense that it is leading to a period of a break in between in the relationship. So they could potentially, come back in at the end of the Mercury retrograde period, which is going to be the end of like middle towards the end of October. But either way, this relationship, if it hasn't been completely healthy, if there are disputes, if it's ridden with problems, then obviously it is probably the best time for you to let this go. I do feel for the majority of you, this is an ex, okay? And this is somebody from your faraway past, okay? Even as as late as last year, or even prior to that, okay? This is somebody that was once very, very significant in your life. And it could be, the mother of your child. It could be, an ex that you've never adequately found closure with, or you've never healed from. So a lot of healing definitely in this situation is coming through for this month. And I also feel as well, it is definitely a blast from the past with the Six of Cups and the Ace of Cups and the Three of Swords, indicating to me that you were doing fine without this person in your life, but something is triggering the memories coming through for this month, okay? It could be because, the length of time they've been out of your life, and you're calling or you're communicating to check to see if they're okay. I do feel that since they're the air element, they might be the one to reach out to you, okay? So whatever it is, if it's in regarding a child, there might be news coming through from them regarding, your child together, that you might not completely be happy to hear, okay? It might shake you up, and I do feel it could be something simple, like a child, scraping his knees or falling down or something like that, or a child getting into a fight at school, or being, exhibiting hostile behavior towards his or her peers. Okay, that's what I'm sensing. It could also be a situation where I don't feel that, the person is doing any harm to the child, God forbid. I don't feel that, but I do feel it might be like concerning the child's behavior in the classroom with or his or her peers. If there is no child involved with this air sign person, I do feel that it's somebody from your faraway past coming through. And for a lot of you, I do feel this Queen of Swords is playing out as as an ex, but also a person, male or female, that is starting to let his or her guard down, and that is approaching you with a little bit more emotional investment. And whether or not you want to go with it forward with it and rekindle, I don't feel the energy is going to be conducive for rekindling. And I do feel at this point you're over it. You're over it, and I don't sense it's going to cycle through for you. A lot of you might be dating new people, and especially if you are, if you have transitioned from, a person from your past and you've done the healing for yourself, or if you're in a situation where you're involved with an air sign and there has been like arguments, disputes in the past. I do feel that unfortunately that it's going to have to come to an end, or at least you're going to be able to reach a resolution that is mutually beneficial for the both of you. It's mutually agreed upon. So I don't feel there's any, discrepancy or any like disagreements as to the best course of action moving forward. I also sense as well that if there is a breakup and you're the one, and you feel as if you're the only one suffering, I do feel that this person can come through and, they're letting their guard down. They're telling you, no, it wasn't just you. It was me as well. So there is definitely a truce reach if this is a person from your past, but I don't sense any type of a reconnection happening or a rekindling coming through, okay? So on the work front, I do feel as well, if you're dealing with people who are quite abrasive on the work front, and if you're dealing with a work situation that hasn't been, I guess, nurturing of your talents, of your skills, of your expertise, or people who are not appreciative of your expertise, there is a period of re-examination coming through to see if this is the right line of work for you. So I do feel that a vacation coming through where you're trying to get away from relationship problems, or trying to avoid, or trying to just detach yourself from work environment stresses, and you're taking a vacation here. So I do feel either way it is going to be good for you. It's going to allow you an opportunity to reflect and realize what is no longer working for you. So at the same time, the choices are definitely narrowing down and they're dwindling, and you're going to have, I do feel it is good for you, and you're going to realize, what's working out and what you need to change. Once again, I do feel that this is going to be a little bit of a stressful month for you, Scorpios. I apologize. And I do feel really bad about, just pulling out cards for Scorpios for the past few months and not getting good results. So I apologize for that. But I do sense that a lot of, so Scorpios in general, if there is a person from your past that you've had extensive run-ins with, and for some reason there was never any closure reached, I do feel there is definitely going to be a separation from that person once and for all, okay? And in particular, if it is an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, this is a situation in which a new work environment can come through for you, and you are going to be traveling or relocating, or even taking a break from wherever it is, your current work situation, moving on to something better for you. I do feel it is going to be better. And it's going to be something that will allow you to stabilize your life. If that's a situation coming through, I do sense that there is that period of you reaching out to that person from your past and trying to make amends, but I don't feel that it's going to have a favorable outcome, okay? So it's best to leave exes in the past and leave situations alone. Mercury in retrograde is notorious for bringing back exes and people from our past that we've never properly, achieved closure with. So that's something to keep in mind. It can be in your best interest to reach closure with that person, and I do feel that the time is the best time to do that is actually the end of the month during the Mercury in retrograde, because that will open a portal of communication between you and whoever it is from your past, to allow a truce to be reached, to allow situations to allow things to come together where you can at least reach closure with one another. But like I said, the energy is not conducive for rekindling or anything like that, okay? I also feel for a lot of you, if you are in stable relationships with an air sign and you're not dealing with any type of, conflict, I do feel that there is a period coming through for this month in which you both are potentially trying to figure out how you want to move ahead with your life. For example, if there is that element of long distance, there that distance might be bridged. You might be able to see that person in the flesh, and you might have a conversation, or even, a negotiation process as to where you want to be, how you want your life to look like together as a couple rather than individually. So if you've had somewhat of an open relationship in the past, I do feel that the process of reuniting but also solidifying the relationship into a more stable structure is in the work for you. I also feel as well, for majority of you, if this relationship has been like ridden by conflict, it's really important to take that high road, okay, when dealing with this person from the past, because I do sense that if you are too emotionally wrapped up in it, it might be more destabilizing for you as a water sign than it is for them as an air sign. So you want to approach this in a very detached manner, in a very high-minded fashion, to reach the conclusion that you need in order to achieve the closure that you need to move on with your life and for them to move on with theirs. So on the work front itself, I do feel that whatever imbalances has been lacking on the work front is definitely being addressed, and you're going to let a few people go from your life. I do feel on the work front possibly like 2, 3 people leaving your life, okay, because they're not making the cut and they're not pulling their weight, and the situation itself has been problematic. I do feel there is going to be one person on the work front coming through for you, or at least defending you, okay? So one person that you're seeing eye to eye with, and the other 3 that might have to be let go, or the other 2, 3 that might be let go or severed from your work environment. If you're in a managerial position, I do feel that most of you are. You have definitely the social skills and also the work ethics, and the I guess like the diplomacy as well to work in a supervisory position. A lot of important and major decisions have to be made in terms of personnel changes and things like that. So if you're in a supervisory position, don't be afraid to let people know if they've been slacking off on the job. And I do feel that this is a conversation that is best done by the beginning of the month, so that people know where they stand with you and people know they're skating on thin ice, so that towards the end of the month, if there are, reduction in personnel changes coming through, then at least they were made aware of it, and if they didn't change their behavior accordingly, then you don't have to feel bad about letting them go, okay? So take care of yourself, Scorpios, and do take some time, spend, if there are situations that have been laden with conflict, try to take some time off if you can for mental health days, or just take a brief vacation, go off on your own towards the end of this month. I do feel that it is going to be rejuvenating for you. It's also Mercury in retrograde, so it's a good time to revisit old haunts, to go see old friends and family members, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. Have a wonderful, wonderful September 2015. If you'd like a private reading, please contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com. And if you are, my website can be found below, and as well as my scheduling website. So if you've had problems with that in the past, it's now all in the same place, and it's very easy to schedule an appointment. So I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself.